There are many times when we believe that the people around us are the best and that they complete our lives. It is only they who have the ability to heal us. In what way can we stand on our side, and who are the most loyal people who will stand by us in this tough time? Nevertheless, God has always been able to reveal the truth to me on any given day in my life. Although it may have appeared as if that day was a nightmare, in reality, whatever happened was best for us in the long run. If you would like to get the latest updates, please click the bell icon and subscribe to our channel. My ex-wife's name is Rosalind, and I would call her Rose, as well as me, David. We've been married for 2 years. I was employed by the Merchant Navy. In addition to that, she was a banker. The two of us have been friends since the time we were in high school. As time passed by, we realized that we were a perfect couple and that we could not live without one another. She got hired by a bank and I was hired by a Merchant Navy. Our relationship lasted for a couple of years, and then we decided to get married as I had the opportunity to become a family man and I had a job that was giving me a handsome salary. We got married and a new chapter in our lives started with Rose. There was a lot of happiness among us. We had a stable financial situation, which was one of the reasons for our success. The only thing I could do was to tell Rose not to work, but she insisted that she got a degree in banking and finance, so if she did not make it work, it would be a waste of my time. In addition, she was fine with the job because it will keep me busy all day long. As a result of my duty, I had to spend most of my time abroad ship, which presented one very big problem for me. I had an extremely busy schedule of duties during my shift. I have even come home after 3 months or longer in some cases. Rose was very upset by all of this, but unfortunately it was my job to deal with it, so I had to do it. It was always something she complained to me about. The thing is, whenever I got home, I loved her so much, then make her feel satisfied with the fact that we were used to it. In addition, I had a blind trust in Rose. However, I was not aware of the fact that, but rather an advantage for Rose. In spite of having all this routine, somehow 1 year has gone by. There is no doubt that I was always busy with my job. We got in touch with each other either through a message or by phone. It was only source that allowed us to stay in touch with each other. Nevertheless, it stopped me once in a while. The behavior of Rose has changed after a year and a half. There has not even been any communication between her and me for weeks now. There was not even a single message sent. It took me 2 months to come back home this time around. There was only one conversation that Rose and I had. It was strange to go back home after being away for 2 months. The girl was not happy to see me, as she appeared to be smiling, but she was not happy to see me. I got her to dinner, and then we watched a romantic movie together after dinner. All of it, however, appeared to be a waste of time. As far as her response was concerned, she was not responding well at all. After I asked her about her behavior, she replied that she was just under stress because of her job, so I don't know what else to make of it. It is because of this that she looked upset at the time. On that particular night, I wanted to have a romantic night with my partner. She refused to do so and fell asleep. My mind was blown by this. It was because before that day, whenever I got back to my house, there was a lot more excitement in her than I had, and she made romantic stuff for me in order to have love with me. Nevertheless, because of her, I was just a bit quieter. As my leave was coming to an end on the school last day, she came to me and apologized to me for her behavior. It was a good feeling for me because she at least tried to convince me. After a long time, we finally had sex that night. It was time for me to leave for my job. As time goes on, there was a time when she called me and said that there was good news, but I had to wait until I got home to find out what it was. I asked her to tell me what had happened. However, she did not tell me anything about it. It was therefore necessary for me to wait until the end of the duty before I was able to return home. I arrived home to find that she had decorated the whole house and there was a party going on. Upon entering, I heard her screaming with friends, "Surprise, Daddy, Daddy." The real surprise was that when she told me I was going to be a father. It was such a happy party. We danced, ate, and sang songs together, and we had so much fun. It was one of the biggest moments of my life. I thought she had some other sorts of good news since I was not expecting this to happen. This was a very pleasant surprise for me, and I'm very thankful to her for it. According to her, it was the 3rd month of her pregnancy. It was then that I took a leave of absence from my work so that I could take care of Rose's health. Whenever she needed me, I was always at home to help her. I met a neighbor a few days after I had done the groceries, and he told me that he often saw a tall man at my home at night. In the evening, I came home and asked Rose what she thought about the guy. In reply, she said, "Oh no, that was my colleague who had bought me some files from home to get signed as she was on leave." In spite of all of this, I ignored her because she explained everything to me in detail. In the middle of the night, she felt pain in her abdomen, so I brought her to the doctor who was treating her at that time. The doctor informed me after the checkup that there were a few complications with her. The guy who brought her here the last time, I told him. Then I asked, "Who's that guy?" The doctor said that he does not know your wife came here with a man, but I brought Rose home with me. Medications were given to her as well. In the morning, I thought it would be a good idea to ask her about the man. At the moment, she was not feeling well at all. After taking her medication, she went to sleep. When I was having a breakfast the next morning, I told her that the doctor had told me, "You went to the doctor with another man." She was eating a sandwich when I told her this, and she stopped eating as soon as she heard what I said. There was something wrong. In an answer to my question, she said, "Yes, I forgot to mention that the colleague who came home with me got me to the doctor that night as I was unable to drive and needed someone to drive me." As soon as she got to me, she started complaining to me because, as you know well, David, you were on duty and I was in this situation on my own. It is important that you should be grateful to my colleague who took care of me. And then she started to argue, claiming that what she said was true. In place of thanking him, I was asking her a question instead. The matter has been resolved. One day I was just about to throw trash into the trash bucket when I noticed something in there. There was an unsealed packet of condoms. It was the 7th day that I had been at home. As soon as I saw this packet, I thought I had never used this brand, and even if I had, I wasn't even at home for the last 3 months if I had used it. I was wondering who had used it so far. Now it was stuck in my head and I couldn't get rid of it. For the whole day I was trying to figure out where the packet came from. In the end, I decided to find what was going on behind me. The reason is that this time my guts were telling me that there is something wrong with the situation. Since then, I have been keeping a close eye on her. The thing that I noticed about her behavior before was that whenever I asked her about her colleague, she got nervous and changed the topic. The password to her phone was in my possession. In spite of the best efforts, I was unable to open her cell phone. So I asked her to tell me the password so I could make a call. She refused, saying that she did not have credit. Now I was sure that something was wrong. When I asked her again, she did not give me the password. Therefore, I decided to stop myself. I have no idea how I was able to do so. When she was using her cell phone in the middle of the night, I grabbed the phone and locked her in her room and walked out of the room. The first thing I did was to check her cell phone. In the room, Rose was shouting at me to give her cell phone back. But as soon as I ignored her and started checking her cell phone, I found that she was begging someone to come over and accept what she had with her. It was impossible for me to understand what she was chatting about because the previous chat had been deleted. In order to recover the history of deleted messages, I learned from the internet how to do it, and I was able to find the chat according to the procedure. There was a man who had a relationship with her extramarital affair, which I found out from her. As soon as she told me about the baby, he was shocked. As a result, he blocked her from contacting him. It was only when I realized that the whole game she was playing with me all along. I believed that when he blocked her, she had an intention of making that child mine and making me fool with that. Nevertheless, I was able to gain a complete understanding of the truth with God's help. In any other case, I would think that child was part of my blood. While all of this was going on, flashbacks started coming to my mind of how much I loved her, how much I respected her and what she had done for me. It was impossible for me to forget that shit. In order to reveal her truth to everyone, I made the decision to do so. Afterwards, I was able to remove all the data from her cell phone after sending myself a screenshot of the chat. As soon as I opened the door, I tried to make it seem like I was unaware of what was going on. Then I apologized to her and explained that I had just checked her phone and was just checking her messages. She did not give me the password, so I thought there was something wrong with her. In front of her, everything was fine and I was not able to find anything because she had already deleted all the messages I was looking for. She did not make a scene. She started fighting with me about that trust issue, but unfortunately, I had to apologize to her at that point. The purpose of this was to make her realize that I had not seen anything. After 2 days, I asked her to arrange a party since I want to invite all the guests before I had to leave the country because there was a lot of pressure at work. There was no way she would have known that I had seen everything on her phone. We arranged the party and invited all of our friends and family. After everyone had dinner on the day of the party, I distributed the chat copies of her affair to everyone. It wasn't long before her sister started asking her, "What the hell is wrong with you, Rose?" After seeing the chat, she was amazed and came to ask me what the hell is going on. There is something wrong with these messages. I can clearly explain that these messages are not mine. There is no doubt in my mind that I know the truth. I then shouted in front of everyone about her infidelity. Despite the fact that she started crying, I had no mercy for her. In an effort to get rid of her, I slapped her in front of everyone and ordered her to leave the house as soon as possible. The reason for this is that I was not able to tolerate her presence in my home. There's no way I could see her as a bigger cheater and bigger liar than she is. Her eyes would now be open to the shame that exists in society. To be honest with you, I think I have done a very good job with the situation, but I must admit that I could have done a little more for her.